With the snap of a finger, we are back. And I got napkins flying to work as I bumped into my little notepad. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to 786 Unlimited's presentation of crypto before dark. We typically do 2 live streams plus an extra live stream on Wednesday for our European folks over across the pond. For our intercontinental folks who can't tune in to the 11 p.m. stream that we normally do for Crypto After Dark, which is, let's be honest, the grown-up hours when we all hang out and have a drink and talk charts. A lot of people like to come into the 2 o'clock one, and here we are. Let's get in some charts crypto before dark. It's good to see everyone. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. Hit the like button. Not only hit the like button, let me adjust this a little bit, because ever since I got the resolution fixed, now it, all right, how do I change this? Let me figure out how to change this. All right, so if I unlock it and I click on it, how do I make it bigger? That's what she said, right? I have to work on that. I have to work on resizing it. Not the point. Go hit like, go hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're getting close to 10,000 people. I got some stuff planned to give away when we hit 10,000. I want to give it away, but I can't till we hit 10,000, all right? So tonight for some of you guys across the pond over there, today, we're going to talk a little bit about liquidity, what it means to you, and how your strategy may or may not be affected by a liquidity problem or a liquidity excess. So I've got AVAX pulled up on the chart here, and I'm going to give everyone some time to come in here. We only have about 19 people on, and I don't expect a lot. I never really expect a lot of people on the Wednesday shows, but if we get more people, great. I'll say hey to everyone in a couple moments. I also have some coins left over from yesterday that people wanted me to look at, and I didn't get a chance to get to them. So I want to look at these after. The first 15 minutes I want to spend explaining liquidity here, and the next 15 minutes we'll go over these coins that I had in this chart, or the coins that I have to look at charts for here, and see some different looks. So I've got on the screen right now AVAX. I've got the entire AVAX chart. This is weekly. I have a couple things pointed out for you here. I've got the 8 and 21 EMA up there, and you can tell it doesn't look so great right off the bat for the weekly. Furthermore, what's more important is I have this really, really gnarly downtrend line. All right. This kind of told us that we were going to keep going down and down and down, and definitely losing money if we stayed in this and if we didn't sell it. Essentially, any money that we would have made, we've pretty much almost lost already from the bull market. If you bought it, you lost almost all the value, and now it's just sitting there, hardly doing anything, right? Where does liquidity play in? So a lot of people who watch this channel don't necessarily hold. And by hold, I mean you just buy something and hold on to it because you have this underlying opinion that no matter what, everything's always going to go up, and AVAX is going to have this massive bull run, and AVAX is going to be worth $4,000 one day, right? Because someone's told you this, because of this and that, right? And you think it's going to actually happen and do that. It's not a horrible idea to invest in things that you think will go in value. And I understand the idea behind buying and holding on to something that you feel like, you know, may go way up in value. I get it. Problem. In the meantime, you're going to lose 80 to 90% of your value over and over and over again. How does this affect you? Well, first of all, you didn't make anything from your investment. Your money just sat there. And in fact, whatever you made mostly got wiped out. Next, you put money in the system and never took anything out. This is where liquidity comes in. You provided that particular ecosystem with liquidity. You decided, hey, I like this coin. I think I'm going to buy it and provide some liquidity to this particular asset. This will give me the asset I want, like the tokens of this particular one would be AVAX. I've bought it. Now I have the coins, but I gave my liquidity, my cash, my dinero, my stable coins to you in order to buy the AVAX. Okay, let's say the price goes way up. Right? You've done well. You've made this uptrend and you're killing it. You notice that the price starts to dip under the uptrend line and potentially be creating a downtrend. All right. Now's when the liquidity is in excess. Lots and lots of people have done exactly the same thing you did. They saw They saw an asset that they thought had a really good long-term play here, so they bought a bunch of it. They provided liquidity. Lots and lots of people are providing liquidity and providing liquidity. Not a lot of people are taking anything out. All right? You're putting your hard-earned money in, and you're not taking anything out because you think this thing's going to infinitely go up in price for a long, long time, right? It's a long-term hold. So we get told all the time, long-term hold. That term only really gets thrown around when things are way down, by the way. All right, so you see this and you go, well, maybe it's time for me to get some of my money out. There's plenty of money available. Lots of tokens in people's wallets or ledgers or whatever they use. I use a ledger, right? Here's my ledger. I have multiple of them. You have lots of tokens in ledgers, and not a lot of tokens are being sold back. These are the kind of times where you want to hit the pause button and say, maybe it's time I give some of this back so that if I see something else that looks really good, perhaps another project comes along and I like the way that one sounds, I want to buy some of that. Well, I can't do that because all of my liquidity has been put into AVAX. Now you don't have any liquidity. You're in a liquidity crunch. You don't have the money to buy anything else because you put it all in the AVAX. And then the chart starts to come down. And as the chart starts to roll over and come down, problems start brewing for you. Now, what was millions is down to hundreds of thousands. Then you think it's okay because we're still way up from where I originally bought. Don't understand, Keith. I've got a great buy-in price. It's fine. Then it comes down more. And this time it's a lot. And you go, well, I can't get rid of it now because if I sell now, I'm only losing. You're continuing to provide liquidity. You have no liquidity. And in fact, you've surrendered massive amounts of money. You've surrendered so far about 80% of what you had back to the ecosystem just because you think it's a long-term hold. You still don't have any money to buy anything. You still don't see it. You still see other projects that you think may be worth a poke. I want to go buy that. Problem is I can't because I don't have any money to buy it with. I've got to go work a hard job and scrape together pennies to buy more and buy more. And all you're doing is taking your money earned and buying more stuff and providing more liquidity and providing more liquidity. What you're forgetting is there's people like me on the other side who are eating you alive. Every single time you provide a little liquidity, we get to sell a little for a little bit higher price. Every single time you do that, we get to take a little bit out and enjoy it. Now we have more to buy with. We have more liquidity than we had to start with. We can buy those projects that you're seeing that you think look good. Well, we've got plenty of money to buy them. Not to mention, we're not losing money exponentially as this chart falls with that blue line that you see right there. Once that purple line failed, that's all she wrote. She's done nothing but fall since. Now, where's a good time to look at adding some liquidity back? It's a great question. Whenever you see the asset fall 80 to 90% and you see the price come back to high time frame support, just like AVAX has here, you kind of see that it's bouncing around some old school support right here, and it's gotten really near it, right? $10 is about that line. Furthermore, if it goes any farther than that, there's another blob of support and resistance here, right? If we go under it, it's resistance. If we stay on top of that, that's support. And that's about $5 or less. So it's very simple. How do we know where these things are going to go? We draw our support resistance lines. We draw some basic trend lines. And until they break, we expect them to get hit. We expect liquidity to come in at these white lines. We expect liquidity to go out when we break these uptrends. Doing this can double, triple, quadruple the amount of money that you have to use to buy other assets with. Just buying and holding has worked in the past for equities and stocks. What was the difference? Well, you see this AVAX chart. You see how it's came over and rolled over 80 to 90%. And that's really not very long of a time frame. furthermore, let's look at Bitcoin way back. Well, I'm not going to pull that up. Well, yeah, well, give me Bitcoin from Bitstamp here. And it goes back pretty far. And I'll erase everything on it. You can kind of see that people who have hodled, well, hell, if you bought way down here, you're in the clear, and you've been in the clear for years and years and years, right? Okay, there's like 5 people who did that. Everybody else is trying to grab some on the way up. Let's look at the Dow Jones. Want to have your heart broken? You should just buy and hold. Yes, that has worked. Why? Because this shit has been going up in a straight line with small little moves down for the last 100 years. How difficult was it to make money? You had a 100-year bull run. Throw money against the wall and you make money. How difficult was that? What you need to understand is crypto is far different than this. Crypto has cycles where it goes up and then it pulls back very hard. Then it goes up and it pulls back very hard. There's a supply and demand aspect that goes along with Bitcoin and crypto. When we have halvings, the supply dwindles. When the supply dwindles and there's still a demand, which there is, you're going to have a price increase. And once that price increase gets to the point of max liquidity where tons of people have put money in and nobody is taking anything out, the chart starts to roll over and nose over and stop. And this has happened 4 times in the history of Bitcoin. It will happen again. It's just the way it is. You see right here what can happen, right? Ever since 1928, this thing has done nothing but go up with little small blips along the way that were big crashes, right? Look how big this crash was in 2020. Oh God, in comparison to the massive amount of up this chart has done for decades. Decades. If you only put money in for the last 100 years, you made no money. You didn't take anything out. You didn't make anything. You have a whole lot of money in savings that you can't touch. Along the way, you must sell some off. You must gain liquidity. You think people got rich just by holding. That's incorrect. They had to take money out to use it to live off of. You can't just hold something forever and expect the money to land in your wallet. That's not how it works. You have to be willing to remove your liquidity from your hands and buy something, and then you have to be willing to commit and take that money back when the time's right. If you don't, you are simply providing liquidity to people like me who are ready to cut your legs off from underneath you. And if you think I'm a bad guy for doing that, I need you to wake up and smell the roses, because 90% of every single trade that happens is a bot trade or a software trade or a high frequency trade. You're losing to people who aren't even doing anything. They're just pushing buttons. Be realistic in what you're doing and understand when you hold through a bear market, you are donating money to people like me. And then we're going to use that money to buy more stuff in the next bull cycle, and we're going to do this all again. I'm encouraging you to listen to what I'm saying and maybe rethink your strategy a little bit, because without liquidity, you have no buying power. And when something comes along to buy, I'll be buying it and you'll be stuck watching. I don't want that to happen. Okay, cool. So let's go talk to some people and say hey to everybody. What's up, Rug? Good to see you, Rug. Talked to him before the stream. Good to see you, brother. Hope the fam's well. E. Phillips, Ron Poteet, Big Dex, Adam Man, what's up? Goombas. Bro, when the OGs show up, we clap for them. We clap for the OGs. G Funkadillion, what's up? We used to say renowned. We got to bring that back. We were saying renowned for a while because I didn't want to say legendary because some other BS YouTuber says that, and I don't want to say that, so I'm going to say renowned from now on. The renowned Brother Bill, the renowned Win Mullet, Madman, renowned. What's up, Corey? Renowned, Corey. Danny Deep Pockets, good to see you. Kingfish, what's up, bro? Renowned, been around a long time. Architecture, what's up? Kevin Luce Jr., what's up, brother? Good to see you. Nate S. Kawat Sulaka, blah, blah, blah. Hi, first time watching. I can't pronounce that, but thank you for watching, bro. We're about to hit in some coins now. Irish Mouthful Guy, what's up? Crusader, Ray TA, good to see you, brother. Ray TA's been putting out tons of information in the Discord with his screener that he uses and shows longs and shorts versus each other. Puts it up all the time. You guys should be in there watching. Please look at dot. I'll look at dot. Sure. Looks bad right now. I can go ahead and tell you without looking at it. But Jenny Howell, what's up? Good to see you. Long-term poor, absolutely. Dreamer, Mo Gotti, what's up? Good to see you. I hope your wife's doing well. Vector, exquisite. All right, good. So let's jump into some charts. First, I'm going to start with CTSI because Jeremy Monroe brought this one up and I forgot to look at it on the last stream. Essentially, what he was going to tell me was he had seen some assets here that appeared to be flirting around with trend lines and, potentially breaking some. And here's an excellent example. This CTSI kind of flattened out. It was riding this long-term downtrend right here, but you can't deny that kind of broke trend and started another little different downtrend that's more sloped to the side, not so much up, but still down, but less down, right? It's an interesting look and an interesting parallel to watch these wicks get thrown like this right here. This thing threw a gnarly wick yesterday. Look at that. Zoop. Straight up there through that wick and then kind of started dancing around and fading back and now closed down way down here. So it ended up being a bearish retest, but holy crap. Right, we've seen some of these move very violently. Some guys are in the Discord trying to catch some of these runs up. I'll give you caution. Some of them still look really, really bad. And because they look really bad, I don't want anyone to jump in anything and think you're going to make a ton of money. I still think there's a lot of money to be lost if you're not careful. All right. CTSI does have an 821 cross, I believe. Yeah, it did make an 821 cross, but it's getting hammered down by these trend lines. And if we put in some more stuff like moving averages, you'll see just kind of getting trapped under all the moving averages at one time. I do not expect that it cuts through all those at one time. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just don't see it blasting through all those. You know what I mean? All right. Dash. Dash is another. It's done pretty well for itself. It moved all the way up to the daily 200 moving average. All the moving averages are bunching up, but it is failing the 200 right now. You see it's bumping its head against that yellow trend line right there. I'll move the indicators off so you can see. Bumping its head against that yellow trend line. We scroll back and kind of see it's not quite broken it yet. I can fine tune that just a touch. There we go. It's a little better. And then we have an upper trend line up there too that it still hasn't broken either. So while the moving averages are doing its thing, I think it's soaking up momentum in the process. So be careful. Some alts have run up through this resistance like you see Dash doing right now. And by resistance, I mean the bottom of this previous move we had right here. See that thing kind of cut right through it? You'll notice that Bitcoin is way down here and hasn't even made this move up yet, if it makes it at all. Dash made it up, blasted through it, and kind of stalling out. We'll see if this makes a head and shoulders here. If this can dive down here and make a head and shoulders and then fail or not. We're going to find out. I'm not sure, but I assume this happens. I just assume the worst all the time during a bear market. Sorry. Engine. All right. Engine getting blasted. Goodness gracious. It had a little showing like it wanted to get through and break. It did not. Let me cut this off. It did not, and this short-term trend line didn't last as well. Still getting hammered by the trend. High time frame supports down here around 23 cents to 20 cents. Even more down there at 15 cents. So between 20 and 15 cents would be an excellent buying opportunity if you were going to look for it, because that's the shelf of support right there. It's kind of like a plateau. And I'll show you what I mean here. This little level right here is a lower level, and then you have another one up here that's an upper level. It's about 22 cents to 15 cents. If it goes down in this range right here, I mean, starting to buy there is not a horrible idea. Could it go farther? Yes. So be careful. Don't completely unload everything. Play it smart. RDNT. RDNT is a stock. All right, this one's also pinned up against the trend line and trying to break, but fading back now. It went overbought. I see someone was watching it. That's pretty cool. Yep, no thanks. Following the S&P 500 very tightly, and now it's pulling back off of that trend line. Be careful. This thing could fall in its face. Blank. What a name for an asset. Blank token. Hell of a name. It's on Gate. Goodness gracious. Now look at the very rapid movement after the heavy consolidation. It's an interesting look in the fact that multiple others have done this, like Tailcoin. Tailcoin did similar, but I want to warn you, she's still under trend. It just came back up and tested trend, and it's likely to fall and fail more and maybe even drop sideways some more. We saw this last bull run as well. Multiple coins that ran up to their trend lines that were a country mile away, like this one was. And there was a little bit of liquidity grab going on right there. But now you bumped your head against the trend line. Liquidity's starting to go out. What are you going to do? What are you going to do now? You're going to leave your money in and watch your liquidity evaporate? Or were you one of the people who grabbed this up here and used that liquidity to move into something else or prepare to move into something else? XCal. Never heard of this one. It's going to be a hard no from me on this one. She's steady down. It's on a deck screener type thing. And honestly, a lot of this DeFi stuff is not done failing. So it's going to be a no for me on that one. For the moment. Things can change. Pilot. No thanks on Pilot. Looks awful. Cause. That's Casper. Let's use the MXC chart. Not doing bad, Casper. Not doing bad. It has broken this short-term uptrend right there. Looks like it may be ready to roll back and play dead a little bit. You could even fine-tune that and say that, more like that. If this rolls over and falls, she's coming all the way back to 002, and that's a huge fall from where it's at. Just giving you the heads up there. You have a lower high forming. You're forming a downtrend. Don't get suckered into thinking this can go up forever because it looks like it wants to start failing. Don't get caught slipping. Gala. Man, freaking Gala, dude. I've been holding on to the tokens that my node has accumulated. I've got thousands and thousands of tokens just piled up over there waiting. When the bull market comes up and finishes itself off, I'll be happy to cash them out and be done, right? Make a ton of money and then walk away. It's still scraping the floor right here. I don't know if this can fail lower or not. I'm watching indefinitely. It's still falling knife. Until this knife finishes falling, we're not really going to know how much farther it can go down. It's still steady down. I've got the floor marked right here at the time for the time being, but I'm not sure it actually holds up here. It could go much farther down. IoTex. There. Yeah, this formed a beautiful inverse head and shoulders back in the day. After it formed that inverse head and shoulders, it came down and back tested it and took the hell off. And it's done really, really well since. Still getting hammered by the trend line here. No matter how you want to draw it, it doesn't matter. It's under all of it, whether I catch every wick or not. I don't really buy this wick right here. Don't fall for that. I don't believe that's the truth. Honestly, it could come all the way back down to 0.18, which is 1.5 cents basically. That's where the previous neckline was for this head and shoulders, and there's decent support there. That wouldn't make a whole ton of craziness. That would be a pretty basic move. It actually did that. No guarantees though, so don't hold your breath. It could go farther than that. And honestly, that wick could come true. It's right there. You know what I mean? That could come true. I'm just not sure I buy that. Right? Seems a little bit BS to me. Renowned, bro. Renowned. I'm really eager to see what Atlas is doing in the pits of hell. Atlas. It's a gate coin. Yeah. She's eating shit really hard, bro. I have this on my pad for a shotgun shitter that I may, throw a couple $100 at for the next bull run. But I'm not going to put too much more than that. Liquidity is fairly low on this asset. I don't want people to get suckered into thinking that it's going to go up forever. It very well may fail. More. However, we've seen multiple run back up to their 786s. And God, if this comes back up to 786, it's got a metric ton of gains, even from where it's at now. I mean, you're talking about stupid money to 786, 3,800, 4,000%, right? That's a 40x just back to 786. So play it wisely and you may do very well with some of these. RSell. Oh shit. Goombas is giving us coins. Watch out. He said RSell may be bottomed out. Uh-oh. All right, so I see what you're saying here. This thing's fallen a lot. And after it's fallen a lot, it seems to be consolidating near the bottom here. Right about there. What do I need to see happen here? Got a little bit of a short-term, very low time frame cup and handle plan out there, but I'm not positive on that. Kind of scraping the floor. If we can break $10 or basically that trend line, that's when it'll be a go for me. I think this thing may jog sideways some more and tie up money. Tie your liquidity up. This may be an example of tying your liquidity up. Waiting for this trend line to break may save you a bunch of liquidity and keep your money fluid rather than having it stuck in this thing and watching it drive sideways all the way through 2023. May have bottomed, but may be stuck sideways. What's up, Dreamer? Can you check IOTA or Maker? Yeah, IOTA. Let's do IOTA. All right. This is an old school one. Let's go. Bro, look at them fibs play out. I drew all this stuff and haven't looked at this in a long time. Look at that thing around to 1618 from the freaking floor, dude. From June 19 area down to the floor, it ran a 1618 and it ran an overall 786 pattern, didn't it? Ah, baby, look at that. Dead ass 786. If you were wondering, Keith, why are you only saying these coins are going to go to this level? This guy on social media said we were getting a 30 to 50x. This guy who did a YouTube said we were going to get a 30 to 50x. This is why. That right there went dead to Sniper's Alley and stopped. Bam, stopped, done. That's exactly what I expect a lot of coins to do. Go exactly to that spot and pause. Don't tell me it won't happen because we have multiple examples of this. I haven't looked at this chart in months. Corey brought it up. I flipped on and checked on it. Look at that thing. Exactly what we've been talking about. Now it's stuck in a downtrend, failing and failing and failing. How much farther is it going to go? We're going to play the cards as they lie. And as soon as we get a chance to pounce on this and perhaps take this back up to the top, we will. You see, we haven't got to 786 yet on this one. This thing could fall all the way to 13.5 cents. Prepare. If this thing falls to 13.5, that'll be 786, 886. And honestly, it could test the lows at 5 cents. And that'd be horrible, wouldn't it? So there's a possibility once it does that we reverse. Let's say it comes down to 15 cents, right? Let's just be conservative and say 15 cents. 15 cents is there, about there, right there, yeah. 786 then becomes way up here. That is from 15 cents up, that is a 10x. It's a 10x potential for IOTA to a conservative 786 level, not breaking all-time highs, not running up to take profit lines. A conservative 10x if it does what we think it will. There's no guarantees of this. It's not financial advice. Not a financial advisor. FXS. FXSUSD. Yep, there you go. Another one. Goombas said, look, this one's breaking trend. Exactly correct. If we have this trend, it's broken. 100%. This one, pretty wild to say that that's the trend line, and I don't buy that at all. Here's another case of let's see you break a level. All right, now that we've broken trend, what do I need to see happen? If it can break that red line at $7 and hold, I believe we're off and ready to the race. If it doesn't break that level and hold, then we're going to get more down. I can pull fibs on it this way, and I can see the bottom and the top, and I can tell we haven't got all the way to 786, 886 yet, and we know alts like to run to that range, which is about $3 to $2. I would be more willing to bet that it comes back down to here than I would be willing to bet that it runs all the way up. Call me crazy, but that's just the way I see it. Last one, BNB. And then we'll do some more tomorrow on next live stream. All right. Yep, BNB is still floating up here, a high range. I do not expect this to run all the way back to old school support because BNB doesn't typically do that. Could it? Yes. Do I expect it? No. Where do I expect it to do? I kind of expect it to kiss this trend line at some point. It hasn't really sold off very hard yet. It's trying its best to hold up here through the noise. It's pretty impressive, honestly. It, Matic, and a couple more all look like this. I do expect it to come down and kiss that trend line, and when it does, that's when I'll look to enter. That's my plan for BNB. Also, whenever Bitcoin like really gets gnarly and finishes bottoming out, that'll be a spot where I also look to add some BNB. So, thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. We're a couple minutes over. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 p.m. for 1 solid hour. After the stream, we jump on Zoom for multiple hours. We talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Bull crap, party, fun, have a good time. It's all there on our stream, on our Zoom after the stream. Thank you all for being here. 786unlimited.com gets you a link over to the Discord, or down below this video in the comments section or in the description of the video, there's a link to our Discord, a link to our Launchpass. Jump in there. It's free for 1 month. Why not? If you don't like it, you can leave and pay nothing. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, I'll leave you with this. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. And as the late, great, notorious B.I.G. said, I appreciate that. Sky's the limit. Y'all be good. Peace.